Hey guys, this video is going to be super duper laid back. There won't be any editing. It's just going to be uploaded raw in the way that I'm filming it because I just wanted to basically finally put this video up there. I've been procrastinating for the longest. So this is going to be my BMT Experience video. I'm going to say a lot. I'm going to talk with my hands a lot because that's just how I do it. But anyways, basically what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to break it down by 0 week, 1st week, 2nd week, just because there's so many videos like that out there and they're basically all the same. The only difference that I've noticed is that it's going to be off by a couple days, but basically everybody does the same exact thing. So I watched a ton of YouTube videos before I left for BMT, and the ones I broke it down by weeks generally had these same exact weeks off for 2 a day, but they did the same exact stuff. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to tell you guys my BMT experience, what I went through personally. I can't speak for anybody else because it varies off of your flight, your MTIs, how you guys work together as a team, and all of those details. I also did upload a video of my BMT packing, the bag that I packed for BMT. I do have a video up, so if you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that video. So the first thing I'm going to start talking about is my packing list and what I packed and what I recommend you bring or not bring. I did pack a lot. I did get a couple comments saying like, oh, you won't need this, you won't need that, and you packed a lot. I'm one of those people that I'd rather be over prepared versus under prepared. So I did pack a lot. As far as the packing list, the one thing that I do see a lot of people ask is if they recommend a duffel bag or a backpack. So they do issue you a backpack on the first night, which has your essentials. They give you like some Mitch deodorant. They give you a 2-in-1 like Pert shampoo and like body wash. They give you a toothbrush, toothpaste, and then some writing utensils and stuff like that. And then you get a towel, you get flip-flops. Very basic stuff. They do not give you anything fancy. They do not give you anything like super nice. They give you the basics that you need to get by. So if you have sensitive skin, if you have allergies, if you like specific products, I do recommend you bring those, because for my flight, at least personally, we didn't get a BX run until our 2nd weekend there. So if you didn't like what they issued you, you were stuck with that until you went on your mini BX run, and then you could buy the products that you wanted. And even the mini BX was limited, so you don't get to go to the main exchange and buy, you know, your fancy Bath and Body Works type stuff. You need to, they really only give you the option to buy more like Axe and stuff like that throughout BMT. They do have some like nice smelly lotions, but most of us weren't really concerned about smelling good. We were just trying to make it through BMT. But for the packing list, I brought travel size products because I didn't want to check in a bag, because I didn't want to have to worry about it getting lost and whatnot. I did get recommended to check a bag, which is something that I would recommend too if it's an option for you, to check a bag full of full-size products that you like. Now if you're not going to bring full-size products, there's no need to check a bag. But the one thing that I wish I did is that instead of bringing like 17 mini travel size bottles, I wish that I just bought one of each full-size products, because I ended up spending more money in BMT buying that stuff and not even specific stuff that I liked. So I would definitely recommend, like if you like shampoo, conditioner, and a like your favorite body wash and body lotion, those 4 things you could bring full size, and it should last you the 7.5 weeks that you're there. Because once you're in Airman's Week, that last week, you can go to the main BX, you have more freedom. You just can't go off base, but you do have more freedom to go and do a little bit more shopping at the main BX and buy stuff that you actually like, and you don't have to have all the restrictions as you had in BMT. So I would definitely recommend bringing full-size products. If you're a girl and you're not wearing braids or something like that, I would recommend like a good leave-in, a gel, hair ties, and bobby pins. I was able to manage to use the same like 3 hair ties I had the entire time I was there, and a couple bobby pins, and I kept it very simple. I got braids personally because it was super low maintenance. I kept them in all throughout BMT and tech school, so my hair washing routine was so easy and so laid back. I wasn't really worried about it. I do see a lot of girls that use a sock bun, but it gets to the point where you have a couple minutes to do your hair, so most people just rolled it up and threw it in a bun and called it a day. So yeah, full-size products, just basic gel, paper, bobby pins, and hair ties. If you want to bring a sock bun, you can bring that too. As far as clothes, so I didn't really wear civilian clothes. So we wore civilian clothes I think for 2 days before we got issued uniforms, and it was just jeans and t-shirt. So I definitely overpacked civilian clothes. I guess I didn't overpack because a lot of it I could wear in tech school, which I didn't end up doing because the whole civilian clothes in tech school for me was a little bit more restricted. So, and my tech school was so short. So I wouldn't really recommend packing too much civilian clothes unless you have a longer tech school and you know your transition period for your tech school. And then for duffel bag, I brought a duffel bag. But honestly, some people that brought suitcases were really smart. Like the first night it's gonna suck because it's like, oh, you're lazy. You thought you were gonna roll this suitcase, pick it up and carry it. That's about it. After that night, you don't really hear about it. So for me personally, I wish I would have brought a duffel bag, not a duffel bag, a suitcase, because it would have been one less thing I had to buy going to tech school and leaving from tech school. So if you don't mind being yelled at for one night, I would bring a suitcase. What else? Running shoes. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, buy nice running shoes before you go. Some MTIs, some flights will let you wear your own personal running shoes. My flight did not, unless you had a specific shoe problem or foot problem. Then they let you wear your civilian clothes, civilian shoes. So I definitely wouldn't go and splurge too much money on running shoes unless you really want to for like tech school or for after BMT. But I didn't see a need to splurge. They give you like New Balances and stuff like that. They're not the greatest shoes, but they lasted the 6.5 weeks and I still have them now. I probably won't ever wear them again, but they're good enough to get you through BMT. Now, what I would recommend, kind of little trick in there, is to bring some insoles, because if you have nice like gel insoles or insoles that you like, you can put them in your boots, you can put them in your running shoes, and it makes them a little bit more comfortable, because my feet were killing me and my boots and my running shoes for the first couple weeks. And yeah, that's basically the packing list summary. If you guys have any questions about specific products and stuff, go ahead and ask me them in the description box, comment box. One thing I will mention is a lot of people are like, oh, you know, do they really read your ingredients for alcohol and stuff? Now, you can't have mouthwash, you can't have perfume, you can't have aerosol sprays, but some of my face wash and body products did have a certain type of alcohol in them and they weren't a big deal. I think they were thinking about things like mouthwash and stuff like that people can get drunk off of. So as far as body washes and stuff, I wouldn't be too crazy about it unless you randomly get an MTI who's super anal about that. But my MTIs were strict, but it's really hard to find body wash and deodorants and stuff like that that don't have any type of alcohol. So as long as it's not aerosol sprays, body washes, or mouthwash, you should be good as far as BMT. So BMT is just a mind game. That's basically all it is. And you'll hear people tell you that and you'll get annoyed, like, okay, like I get it. But it's seriously just a mind game. They yell at you, they put you under pressure so that you learn how to cope with pressure. So if you can deal with someone yelling at you, if you can deal with a strict routine, BMT is not bad at all. It's bearable. Like, it's not something that I would be like, oh, I would definitely do it again. It was so much fun. No, I'm not one of those people. It wasn't fun for me, but it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. The hardest parts for BMT for me were just dealing with 45 females, sleeping with them, eating with them, shower with them, breathing with them, always being around them. That was probably the most difficult and annoying thing. But in the end, you know, I'm still pretty close with my flight. We do talk. So it's one of those things where it's like having a little sibling that you share a room with and you're always with them. But multiply that one sibling times like 40 something. So I guess it's not really like having a sibling, is it? Anyways, so what else can I mention about BMT? PT. So PT isn't bad at all. You do on run days, you do run days and strength days. Sometimes you do more run days in a week than strength. Sometimes you do more strength. It just depends on the weather and your flight and the conditions and your squadron. So PT for us wasn't bad at all. I don't like running, I don't like PT, but it was bearable. I passed all of my PT tests with no problems. The first one I didn't pass was the initial one, which I missed by like, I think 2 push-ups or something like that, but it wasn't bad at all. I graduated with Thunderbolt, which is just the second highest. It's not like Warhawk, I think, which is the very top highest. I think it's like a 90 you get for Thunderbolt, and we had almost everybody in my entire flight get Thunderbolt besides a couple people. So that kind of goes to show you that BMT PT is not that difficult. For run days, you run for 26 minutes, you do self-paced, and then for 4 minutes you do 1 minute sprint, 1 minute walk, 1 minute sprint, 1 minute walk. That's what we did in my squadron, the 323rd, for run days. For strength days, we did, I'm not going to name everything because I don't remember all of the workouts, but we did push-ups, pyramid push-ups, sit-ups, planks, mountain climbers, leg lifts, jumping jacks, arm rotations, stuff like that. So it sucked. I didn't like strength days, but I like strength days. I didn't like PT. Okay, I prefer to do a strength day over a run day because, you know, some MTIs are encouraging and others just yell at you and force you to run, which sucks if you don't like running. But for run days, they do the first PT test. Basically, the time for your first run determines what lane you run in based off of colors. So I think there's like red, yellow, green, and yeah, blue run belts, blue being the highest and I think red being the lowest. So I think it's red, yellow, green, blue. So I was red and I stayed red I think most of the time that I was in BMT. So my first run time was like 16 something. I graduated with 12 something. And then for push-ups, I started out at like 15, 17. I graduated with like 50 something. And for sit-ups, I started out with like the 30s and I finished in the 50s, I believe. Somewhere around those, I don't know exact numbers, but that just shows the progression that I did. And I didn't do anything crazy during PT. I just did the PT that I was required to do. So PT is not bad at all. As long as you put forth an effort in BMT and you try, I don't see anyone failing unless they really don't try or they're really not motivated or they're really not doing what they need to do. Eating. I was shy runner, so I got like no time to eat. I have a story about how I became chow runner. I will make a video about how I became chow runner because it's a little crazy. Anyways, breakfast, lunch, dinner, I probably can eat so fast right now because I had like less than 5 minutes to drink 2 glasses of water. Every meal you have to drink a minimum of 2 glasses of water. I think it changes after a couple of weeks or after a week or so of being there. You can get like juice and water or something, but if you get Gatorade or anything like that, you still have to get 2 glasses of water also. So you get a couple minutes to eat. The food in BMT isn't terrible, it's just not the best. The food in tech school was delicious, but BMT, it's not too bad. I love the blueberry bagels and the fruit and yogurt, and that's basically all I had. They do have desserts. You have a dessert like little tray thingy and you have to do facing movements and stuff by the snake pit in order to get dessert. And the snake pit, the only thing about doing that is if you don't do the facing movements right, you have the possibility of getting yelled at by MTI. So I just avoided that altogether. It wasn't until like the last week, second to last week, that I started getting yogurt because if you have something in your hand, so if you have your cup in your hand, you can't do facing movements with the cup. So take that cup, go get my frozen yogurt and go sit down. And then for the same thing for the dessert cart, if you were smart and you got like a cup or a spoon or something, you can't do facing movements, so then you can just walk up there and get it. They might yell at you and be petty, but it is what it is. Most people, I did realize, that would go on Sundays because there's no MTIs there. There's like one MTI at the table and you're a lot less likely to get yelled at on Sundays. So if you want to get dessert, go on Sundays. That's the day to do it. Sundays were the most relaxed days because you have church, you don't have any MTIs. We had our MTI the first Sunday just to get us on track of what we're doing. And after that, we didn't have any MTIs on Sundays. So Sundays were basically our flight. Our dorm chief was our flight was a little crazy. So I know some flights, they would like vouch for each other and they could sleep, or I don't know what they did, but in my flight, we went to church, we did our details. You can study for your ELC. It's super laid back. You mainly just go to church, do your details, do whatever list your MTIs leave for you, but it's a little bit more laid back. You get longer showers, so that's when I would really wash my hair and do stuff like that on Sundays, like more maintenance stuff because I had more time. So that's what most girls in my flight did. What else can I talk about? All your graduation requirements, ELC, facing movements, your weapon, all of that is super simple. It's not difficult at all. Everything that they teach you throughout BMT is to set you up to pass all of that stuff, so I wouldn't worry about any of that. I didn't know about any of that, and I'm assuming most people don't mention it because it's not difficult at all, which it's not. So it's all passable as long as you pay attention. The classes are hard to stay awake in because I'm just so, I I learned how to fall asleep in the most random places in BMT because I was so tired all the time. I could fall asleep and you wouldn't even know I was sleeping, like that type of stuff. Just what I'd recommend doing is slowly start adapting and changing your sleep schedule before you leave. That way it's a little bit more of not a dramatic change for you. Like I came from Alaska, so I think the time difference was 4 or 5 hours, so I had to adjust to losing that much sleep or the sleep change. Bradley goes off. We have to do like bed drills and stupid stuff that's not even like, now that I look back at it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't that bad. But in the meantime, like when I was doing it, I was like, oh my god, like this, it sucked, but it wasn't like unbearable to do. We did bed drills, taking apart our bed, making our bed, taking apart our bed, making our bed. They would pull 341s, which you would get yelled at for. In the end, 341s don't do anything for you. They try to make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world. 341s suck, don't get me wrong. Like you can lose family time for graduation, which we did. We lost an hour on our first day. I think one of those days of graduation we got an hour taken away, which sucks. But 341s aren't that crazy. They aren't that big of a deal. They do take more serious as like getting used for the week. I think if you get more than one, then you can get in trouble or washed back or something like that. As long as you're not doing stupid stuff, you're doing what you have to do, you're not getting into petty drama with females, you'll pass BMT with no problems as long as you try. Like BMT is absolutely like passable. They make it so that you pass. Like, do you think the military is going to invest all this money in you for just not to pass you? I feel like in order to fail BMT, you have to not care. You have to have, you know, some issues going on that you need to work with beforehand. Or, you know, a lot of things are medical issues. People get shin splints and stress factors and stuff like that that keep them back or wash them back longer. I think that's the biggest reason most people end up leaving or getting washed back is because of medical reasons. We didn't lose anyone in my original flight. Like my flight that we started out with, we lost one person, and I think that was due to a medical issue. Now everybody else that we gained was due to, I think, like washbacks and stuff like that. But in my flight personally, we didn't lose anyone due to behavioral issues or anything like that. So, or PT, we didn't lose anyone for PT or anything like that. So that just goes to show that BMT is bearable. Now I know I probably rambled a lot in this video and you guys probably have a lot of questions. If you do, comment down below. But I finally want to get it up because I've been out of BMT for, I graduated March 2nd. It's, what's today? Today is May 28th, and I finished tech school April 19th. If you have questions about tech school, I'm a personnelist. I went to Keesler Air Force Base for tech school, and I also am in the Air Force Reserve. So if you have questions about the Air Force Reserve, go ahead and ask me. I also did go through the whole enlistment process for active duty before I switched to the reserve, so I also have a little bit of insight on that as well. If you have any questions about personnel, I can do a video about that also. I'm trying to think what else can I tell you guys about basic. We went over PT, eating. The first 2 weeks I think we wore sneakers, so we're called sneaker weekers because you can tell that someone's new because they wear sneakers and they don't, like, you'll have your uniform on and like sneakers on and off because they want you to get adjusted to the boots without hurting yourself. So you could tell that someone's new by them wearing sneakers. We got our uniforms I think within the first 2 days, and then we had to only wear uniforms. We wore a uniform every day of the week, and then the only time we wore PT gear was for PT. We had PT I think 3 times a week. And what else? Marching. We learned a lot of marching. I think that's what we learned the most, is we did stuff like control, which is where we go out and march. I was in a training squadron, so we had 2 MTIs that were in training and 2 MTIs that weren't. So we did a lot of marching. We learned a lot about marching. Basically everything you do in BMT is to prepare you for graduation. That's the biggest thing. It's preparing you for graduation. So you're marching, your common courtesy, you know, your AFIs, just the very basics. They don't teach you anything crazy detailed or crazy extreme. It's the bare basics you need to enlist in the military, to be in the military. So, you know, knowing your rank structures, common courtesies, dress and appearance, marching. We did a lot of marching. I didn't realize how much, you know, I thought it was gonna be natural for me, like marching. I got marching. It wasn't. I had to work just a little bit, you know, but yeah, we did a lot of marching. We did our classes. We did a lot of classes about like dress and appearance, code of conduct, stuff like that. What else did we do? Marching, that, PT, our lockers, doing socks and uniforms and your blues, and just paying attention to detail is what we learned a lot. That's basically why they have you do your socks and your locker and everything that way. So details, your locker, your living quarters, PT, classes, marching. That's basically what we did every day for those 6.5 weeks. Our MTI slowly did, you know, throughout those last, I want to say 2 weeks or so, they were a lot more trusting. So we got a lot more leniency. We didn't get freedom. We did not get freedom, but we had a little bit more. We were a lot more comfortable in our living situation. We were a lot more adapted. We were a lot more with the flow. You know, after about a week or 2, we started kind of working more together. So what I do recommend is definitely bring a watch. That's one thing I didn't show you in my packing list, and it's because I did show you my packing list, but I forgot to take it to BMT. That's one thing that I would recommend out of anything, because it shows you your date, your time, and without that, it's so easy to lose track of time and the day. I used that alarm like clockwork all the way throughout tech school. Also, it was my alarm clock. I started getting to the point where I'd wake up 15 minutes before relatively went off. That way I could brush my teeth, fully be in uniform, and my bed would be made. That way by the time my MTI came in, I was basically just helping other people and just putting up some finishing touches, straightening up my locker. Like, that's what I'd recommend, is I woke up 15 minutes early. That way by the time the MTIs came, I was already prepared. I couldn't get yelled at for not being dressed, or my hair not being done, or my teeth not being brushed, stuff like that. I did that. And a lot of the girls on our flight started setting alarms on their watches and waking up early. That was a good tip for us. I think that helped us flow a little bit better as a team and kept us from getting yelled at a little bit. Anything else I can recommend? I would not get your uniforms altered in BMT, because let's just say mine look like capris, not even like they're supposed to look anymore. What else? Find someone that you can trusted in BMT. You know, you can make some really good friends in BMT. I would find someone in your flight that you can trust enough to kind of help you deal with the situation and cope a little bit better. Definitely write letters, communicate back and forth with your family. That really did help a lot, is being able to talk to my family and write letters. We didn't really get much time to write letters at all, like at all. We got very little time to write letters. So my letters were super simple. I did pre-fill out envelopes, which I would recommend because it saves you time when you do have time to write letters, and when you do have time to send letters. Pre-written, pre-filled out, pre-stamped envelopes are the best. For bringing money, I brought like a 10, 2 5s, and a couple 1s. That's what I recommend bringing. I wouldn't bring a lot of cash, because you have to write all the information on the bill on a piece of paper, and it takes up time. So don't bring too many smaller bills. Sometimes it can take a little while before you get paid. For some people, for the reserve, it's a little bit different. For active duty, I noticed that a lot of people had more issues with pay. So just make sure you're financially set before you go. Make sure you already have auto pay and everything set up for your bills, because some people didn't think to do that. So make sure you have everything you need to pay your bills already set up, or you have someone like in place that's taking care of all of that for you. That basically sums up BMT for me. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment box and I will get back to you. If you do want to see any more specific videos on like tech school, personnel, Air Force active duty versus reserve, or anything like that, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box and I will be sure to upload a video for you guys. So I just want to thank you for watching my little rant video. I know it was all over the place, and I thought I was gonna, you know, write it down in my notes in my phone and then go off of that and be real smooth and be real put together, but I'm not. So I hope this video was helpful to people getting ready to ship, or that have shipped, or you know, that are thinking about enlisting in the military. I will tell you, it is not that bad at all. I promise, as long as you really try, you're really dedicated, and it's something that you really want to do, it's definitely doable. I would definitely prepare doing 1x3s, which is doing, I think it's like 75% of your max 3 times for a minute each. I would definitely recommend doing that before leaving, because I didn't, and it's something that would have really helped me progress a lot better. I would definitely start getting used to running, trying to walk for 30 minutes, jog for 30 minutes, getting that familiarity down when it comes to fitness. Definitely start working on eating a little bit healthier, because you're not gonna have all those fast foods and sodas that you have now at home. in BMT, so sometimes it can irritate your stomach. So I would definitely start transitioning yourself into more healthier meals. Start eating like 3 meals a day. I was a big snack eater, so eating 3 meals a day was a little bit difficult for me at first because I wasn't used to it. So doing stuff like that. But basically, yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below, and thanks for watching.